Hey everybody, I think I'm live now. Well, it's Friday here, Thursday night in Winnipeg. I'm here in Seoul, South Korea, and I decided I'd do a quick live because, pardon me, because I don't have enough time to record a couple of reviews today, so that's what we're going to do. And I want to compare Aberlour A'Bunadh. Now, pardon my pronunciation if it's poor, and let me just get into my control room here. Here we are. How's everybody doing? I can't see your comments yet, so just bear with me for a minute while I get this ready. And here we are, live streaming. And here I've got two batches. I've got batch 56 right here and 59. Now I have yet to review these, so I better get those done because I'm actually near the end of the bottle for each of them. All right, so I want to find my events, and I want to go to let's see, live now. There we go. We got one person watching. That's great. Let me just get in here. 1 minute. Looks like everything looks good. Okay, so oh, my stream status is bad. Okay. Well then, what should I do here? Bear with me a minute. All right. Okay, well, it says I'm live here now. Now I'm on the wrong side of the camera. There's the problem. Okay, well, let's hope this improves. Okay, it says I'm good. It says the health is good. Okay, well, so we're in business. I don't know what you were watching there for a minute. Were you watching my my cupboards? Also got bad lighting. Oh, Mark, you didn't get yourself ready here. Okay, get the lighting, Mark. Where is it now? This is not good. Classic Mark. Of late, anyway, not being prepared. Okay, got some good lighting now. All right, so I've got one person watching. And it still says I've got a bad stream going on here, so let's hope this improves. I've got three minutes left. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this if it continues to be so bad. 2 people are watching. Okay, if you're watching, could you say hello so I know that you're here? Okay, we've got, all right, we've got Ryan from Ryan Bennick's Whiskey World. Ryan, how's my stream? Am I clear enough for you? What's going on here? Oh, so this is a problem in my neighborhood. Our Wi-Fi, my Wi-Fi is not working very well. It's that you say it looks perfect for you, so that's good to hear. Now, again, it might be a little bit delayed. So it says here, we are not receiving video data at a fast enough rate. Your viewers may experience buffering. Ensure your connection is fast enough to consider using a lower bit rate. Okay, well, I guess I'm just going to go with it. Well, we're just going to have to run with it. You know, if it's a bit buffered, no big deal. I can see what you're saying if you leave a comment. Anyway, thanks a lot, Ryan. All right, well, let's get some of these poured here. We've got the 56, batch 56. Let's get that poured. And this is 61.2%, and as you can see, I'm down to the last quarter. Better get this reviewed quick, huh? And I'm going to pour that into the regular Glend, and it goes. And we'll just have a little bit. Middle of the afternoon here in Seoul. Don't want to hit it too hard. You better put that there, hey? Okay, so that's batch 56. Here comes batch 59. And I think I'm going to probably end up getting at least 1 or 2 batches a year. Now, they're not all the same. Now, if you're an Aberlour A'Bunadh lover, then you'll probably get all of them. But what if you're like me and you just like good whiskey? Well, you may want to have a look at reviews online to find out which is best for your palate. Each one will be a little bit different. Now, I don't know about the age. I'm guessing these are around 7 years old or so. Oh, and batch 59 is 60.9%. So these are quite heavy hitters. And I've got this one more little bottle here, which maybe I'll introduce. So this is from one of my Patreon patrons, Dominic. And he sent me a package full of some very amazing whiskey. So here's Aberlour 18-year-old. Should we add a little bit of that into the mix here? I think we will. And then we'll do a review of this on its own at a separate video into the Glencairn, the Glenlivet Glencairn glass. Just a little bit again. Okay, so 3 small glasses of Aberlour. There we go. Now, I have, okay, so now my stream status is good. Well, I'm very happy to hear that. Good to hear. 3 people watching. Who else is in here? If you're here and you're watching, why not say hello? It's pretty late, I think, in North America. Probably most of the people are watching. Unless you're from Vancouver, you might still be awake. It's what, about almost 2 o'clock in the morning there. Okay, if you're here in Seoul, South Korea, then welcome and join in. Here I am reviewing 3 very unique whiskeys. Well, 2 Aberlour A'Bunadh, and then one the Aberlour 18-year-old, which is apparently not easy to get a hold of. Anyway, a little nervous here. Okay, so we've got 59 over here, 56 here, and the Aberlour 18 right there. And again, Dominic, thanks so much for that. Okay, let's start with 56. And I apologize if there's a bit of feedback or crackling sounds. It's getting warm here, so I've got the air conditioner on, and that's actually right there. And it's not like North America where you've got central air. This is inside where the big fan's outside, but there's also a little fan inside that component. Anyway, all right. Color-wise, let's check out colors. And definitely a nice coppery shade, well beyond gold. Deeply polished oak. Again, not quite mahogany. Can you get a sense of the color there? Anyway, gorgeous shade. And it's nice to know this is unchill filtered. Does it say it's natural color? In fact, I don't think it says so. I'm guessing it probably is. All it says is natural cask strength malt whiskey produced without the use of modern chill filtering methods or the addition of water. Okay, so as it's released in small batches, the flavors may vary slightly from one bottling to the other. Color, deep, rich amber. Right, so no mention. How about on the bottle? Anything here? And nothing on the bottle to suggest that it's natural. I'm hoping that it would be, because again, it's batch by batch, so they don't really have to worry too much about batch consistency, because every batch is different. All right, anyway, so that's number 56, this one right here. Should I leave it there? It's a little bit dangerous. 59, again, coloring. This one's a little bit lighter in shade, not quite as red. This is a little bit more of an amber. Okay, so have a look at that one. But you know what? Color just isn't everything. Don't choose a whiskey because of the color. Maybe I can put those together. I've done this before successfully. All right, here we go. Okay, so here's the 2 colors of 56 and 59. And apparently they're up to batch 61 now. Has anybody tried batch 61? Of course, leave a comment if so. If you're in the chat room, great. And Ryan Bennick's telling me that he has batch 50, and he's got a sample of batch 58. And he'll probably pick up another bottle soon. Probably good. Did you get a sense of the difference in color there? Again, the 56 is a little bit darker, and 59 a little bit lighter. But I have to tell you, should I tell you that now? That one of these is more to my liking, and the other quite a bit less. All right, now what about the 18? Now, definitely a big change in color there. This is the lightest of the three, and I'm guessing that this is probably not entirely sherry. These two are all sherry, Oloroso sherry butts. Um, anyway, there we go. So that's the 18, 43% ABV. One reason for the lighter color is the ABV. You know, you add water to the whiskey, and the color will definitely be tinted lighter. All right. Anyway, so that's the 18. We'll save that for the last. That'll be a little bit of a treat. All right. So let's start with the 56. And from the get-go, I thought to myself, I think I paid a little bit too much. Now, I bought this in Seoul, South Korea. I paid 130,000 won. That's about 120 US dollars. Yeah. So you can probably feel why I may not have reviewed this until now. I'm just hoping that it's turned around after so much oxidation. Now, big sherry nose. When you talk about sherry bombs, this is definitely one of them. You get a big oak component as well. So the wood is very fresh. There's no mention as to whether this is European oak or American oak, and it may be a mix of both. Anyway, so the sherry butts, where are they from? Doesn't say here. Now, I had the opportunity to try a 49, and Ryan, if you're still watching, that blew me away. It tasted much, much older than either of these. There's certainly a bit of vanilla, a lot of cinnamon. I'm not getting much nutmeg, which to me is one of the indicators of European oak. Quite jammy. Raspberry especially. So a tart berry, a red berry, but a tart one. And a nice warmth. It's certainly got a nice nose to it. All right, into the hatch. Not quite down the hatch. Very tart, very dry. It's totally sucked all of the moisture out of my mouth. If I weren't used to this, I'd probably have a hard time talking right now. Oh, very, very tart. Oh dear, I've got a twisted line here. I hope I don't pull my camera. Yeah, I needed some big tech upgrades. I think I need to get a special microphone for lives, and maybe another remote one without a cable for my regular reviews. If you're interested in helping WhiskyWhistle upgrade its tech, well, get onto Patreon and become a patron. Now, not only would that help me with upgrading my tech, but there's a few cool things that I do for the Patreon patrons. The first of that is a monthly newsletter. So every month I write about a full page typed newsletter updating you on the channel, my life, and as a lot of my viewers know, I'm moving to Canada in about a month, 5 weeks time, in fact. Moving the family, all 6 of us, including my dog. Speaking of Rocky, he usually tries to come up on the sofa when I'm up here. Anyway, that's the first thing, the newsletter. Secondly, what I've been doing of late is what I call the Patreon Patron Priority Pass, and I give the patrons about 12 hours or 24 hours to enjoy the videos first, ad-free with no ads, and that seems to be well appreciated, at least by some of the patrons. Anyway, and there'll be more to come. I'm hoping to maybe do something kind of like the challenge coins that the Scotch Test Dummies have done. Do you watch them? I'm sure you do. Okay, well, Ryan, thanks for joining in. I know you have to get to work. Well, I'm sure the 50 was also excellent. Anyway, thanks for joining, and we'll see you on the replay. Take care. All right, so back to this 56. One more sip. Quite often the second sip tells you more about the whiskey. In this case, nothing has really changed. I get a bit of cocoa powder. I get, again, some almost like raspberry vinaigrette. So very, very sour, very tart. Hint of sweetness there, not much. Not a lot of vanilla on the palate. It's mainly a tart, fruity event. I feel like I need to sprinkle some sugar on those raspberries in order to enjoy them, or maybe add a little bit of cream. Okay, so that's 56. And well, I'll leave the rest for the regular review for that, which I have to get done well very soon because I can't take these with me. All right, so that's 56. Now 59, again the color, a much lighter color. This is a little bit more copper, not as polished oak. We already saw that a few minutes ago, but just one more time. And this one, I picked this up at duty free here in Korea at Gimpo Airport. And should I tell you the price I paid? I paid $63 American. So I paid half the price for this one that I paid for this one than I paid for the 59. So 59, 63, 56 was about 120. And opened that. I was thrilled with it from the minute I opened it, and I've been thrilled ever since. And I should have reviewed that earlier, but time runs away on me out here. And what I get on the nose, I do get a bit of nutmeg on this 59. It's subtle, bit of ginger, still lots of cinnamon, vanilla, yep. The berries for sure, slightly more to the strawberry end of berry than raspberry, so a little bit sweeter. Now, have you tried batch 56 or batch 59? Why not leave a comment and let me know what you think, and especially if you tried both of them. All right, so we've got five people watching at once. Only one person has left a comment for me. Who's watching? Why not say hello? Whiskey Whistle after midnight. We are comparing two Aberlour A'Bunadh. Not as potent a nose. So the 56 wins on potency. I might actually like the nose better on 56. It's a bit more powerful, but there's something sweet here that you don't have in that 56. Okay. Now, we didn't check out the legs. I'll leave that for the regular review. But, you know, being a cask strength, unchill filtered whiskey, you can expect some good legs on that one. All right, on to the palate. Cheers again. And right away I get a much sweeter event. There's still a nice balance of sweetness and tartness, but it's shifted enough towards the sweet that it's really juicy in the mouth. Mouth-wateringly juicy. And it doesn't suck the water out of my mouth like the dry 56 did. Hmm. Okay, we're 20 minutes in, and the average watch time is increasing, so that's good. Hmm. So I get a bit of vanilla. I get some. Hmm. I get a little bit of um, gummy worms also. And the finish still a bit dry, as the 56 was, but the 59 just leaves your mouth a little bit sweeter, and it carries a bit longer. And that's what I really like about this whiskey, is that it's got a touch of sweetness to really balance that tartness out. Now let's add a bit of water to these. We'll add a good couple of my 1.5 milliliter spoonfuls. Now I'd still like to hear from people about what batches they've tried. And again, I think the great thing about Aberlour A'Bunadh is that it's a reasonably priced, cask strength, sherried whiskey experience. And I think that's to be applauded for sure. I have some other recent sherry things that I have here. I've got the classic cut from the Macallan, very interesting, and I've also got the Glenlivet Nadura. This one is again first fill Oloroso sherry casks. Now, so that's also a very good comparison to compare all of these. That's the most expensive, and certainly a very delicious whiskey, but of course much more expensive, about double the price. The Nadura, I think, is about the same price, give or take. In fact, in Canada, in Winnipeg, this is cheaper, and the Aberlour A'Bunadh are about $100 Canadian. This was, I believe, 80. And anyway, interesting to compare those. Set those back there. All right, so 56 with water added. Now some sweetness comes out. You get a bit of chocolate sweetness. Maybe chocolate coated raspberries. And how about the 59? Again, still very mild on the nose. And I never noticed that until I tried them side by side. So let that be a reminder that, you know, try your whiskeys in one go. Try a couple, try half glasses, 2 half glasses instead of just one good glass of something. Or even better, try 3 1/3 glasses of 3 different whiskeys. Well, I'm surprised. I really like the nose on this 56. And much milder on the 59. Now let's let those sit for a minute. Let's have a look at the 18. And again, that's from the Patreon patron and long-standing subscriber of WhiskyWhistle, and that's Dominic. Dominic, again, cheers to you. This is your Aberlour 18, 43%. And surely this has a bit of bourbon influence. There's still lots of sherry. And in fact, I'm guessing that the sherry here is actually perhaps of a European origin in the wood, I should say. And maybe not just Oloroso. So now I couldn't find much information about the casking for Aberlour 18. If you have info on that, let me know. I still have to do the regular review for that one coming up very soon. Now, buttery smooth. deliciously sweet. Compared to these, there's absolutely no tartness whatsoever. It's not dry at all. It's a very approachable, very sweet, delicious 18-year-old. And I'd probably set this above a lot of the standard 18s that are out there. Say Glenlivet and Glenfiddich, the current version. Possibly even the Glenmorangie, although I do quite like that one. Very smooth and easy to drink. Delicious. All right, back to the Aberlour A'Bunadh. Well, you can really see the color difference now after water's been added. If you hear a bit of noise, well, you can figure out what that might be. Okay, the 56, a bit of water first, coffee and then water. I always swallow water the wrong way. Okay, the 56. Now, with water added, you do get a lot more sweetness. And I already said that, but it's really true. Much more vanilla. Not nearly as dry. Boy, you can really see how the air conditioner, the wind blowing this way, how that leaves a bit of messiness on the glass. Can you see that? It's turned the little droplets white. Okay. Someone is leaving the house. That's okay. We'll just keep going here. We have to. The show must go on because we're live. Okay, we're at about 27 minutes. We're kind of coming up on half an hour. Probably go up to about maybe 40, 45 minutes. And I know the time is certainly not really conducive to having a lot of people in the chat room. And a big thank you to Ryan Bennick for getting involved and leaving a few comments on the chat. So great, and thanks again, Ryan. All right, 56 with water. It is still extremely sour on the palate. And I don't mind that. Again, just not quite balanced in terms of flavor. So, what do you do though? You've got these barrels, and you put them together. I mean, I think that's not a single barrel. So they would have had a batch, who knows, maybe of 10 or 20 barrels, giving them, say, a couple thousand, or probably more than that, maybe more like 10, maybe more like 20 barrels. So 4,000 or 5,000 bottles. And, I'm sure probably more than that even. How big are these releases? 10,000 bottles? Probably 10, I don't know. Who knows? I'm just taking some stabs in the dark here, but you'd think that had they tasted that and recognized, this is quite a bit, quite sour, they might have thrown some, noticeably sweeter casks in there. But again, in terms of the aging, when they have whiskeys that are at the right maturity, they put them together. Maybe they don't have the luxury of taking other casks because they have older whiskeys they have to make, like the 16-year-old, 12-year-old, etc. Anyway, so that was the 56th. How about the 59 with water on the nose? Well, it's come to life a bit on the nose. Much more sweetness, still a lot towards the strawberry end of things, pardon me. And Stephen Grimes is asking me, how would you compare it to Glendronach Cask Strength? And I've had a couple batches of the Cask Strength, batch 3 and 4, and well, I know for certain not only the flavor, and I would say this if I didn't know the truth, but the Glendronach batch, the Cask Strength batches are actually quite a bit older than this. I would say the average age of the Glendronach Cask Strength is round about maybe 13 years old for, sorry, the minimum age for batch 3 is 13, and I know that for sure. For batch 4 might be 12 years old. Anyway, so quite a bit older than these, and it really reflects in the flavor. I also think that Glendronach with Billy Walker at the time probably spent a lot more money on the casks than the Pernod Ricard Glenlivet Chivas company does on these casks for Aberlour A'Bunadh. Of course, I'm just taking a guess, but when you think about it, it makes sense. You've got a new Glendronach, kind of new, under new ownership after having been closed, after not really having a big, heavy marketing sort of releases in the past. And then with Billy Walker, that push, what a big push, and I mean amazing, what a great job they did. Of course, now it's under the ownership of Brown Forman, and I think they're going to carry on doing such a great job as he did. Maybe some differences, but hopefully on the whole, I think we'll be as happy. But anyway, I'm rambling here. So you can't really compare the cask strength Glendronach with these. These are a little bit younger. Still very nice. Price-wise, I feel like the Glendronach is a bit more expensive. I'm not sure how they compare price-wise where you are, Stephen. You got batch 6. Wow. I think I've only seen batch 5 out here, so I have no idea what that's like, and I have yet to buy one because of the sheer cost. It's about 150,000 won in Korea, so about 135 US dollars for that Glendronach, which I think is less than 100 US in regular retail. And wow, we've got an interesting guest, Suldaku. He says, Diong, welcome. Thanks for joining. What an interesting guest. This is the first time I've seen you join my live. He has the largest, we'll call that alcohol, not just whiskey, he also does other types of whiskeys, but all in Korean language. 혹시 영어로 한 적 있으세요? I wonder if you've done any reviews online in English. And if you haven't, well, maybe we can work on that together. I was actually thinking of doing 2 lives today, one in Korean and one in English, but time ran away on me. Anyway, Suldaku, welcome. I talked about you together with the Diageo Korea representative, and also with the Korea Herald, and who knows, maybe something good will come to you after having mentioned that, because she was asking me if I knew who the largest channel was in Korea, and I said that was you. Alright, so this was batch 59, on the palate now with water. It's like strawberries with a few raspberries in a high cocoa chocolate cake that's not very sweet, but sweet enough that you enjoy it. And slightly minty finish coming through now as I swallow. Very refreshing. And again, just nowhere near as dry as this 56. Let me just go back and compare that one more time. Now it comes around with time. So as you wait and bide your time, this improves a lot. But the thing is, how long can a consumer wait? I think most consumers may have given up after a few glasses and then use the rest for cocktails. I'm going to add just a touch more water in there. And if you're Korean and you're watching this, you might be. Who knows? I think maybe not now, but even after the fact, once this is running on replay. Most Koreans really have no concept of adding water to whiskey or to other spirits. The spirit of choice here in Korea is soju. And soju companies have gotten used to this, and they release different strengths down the line from 50 something down to 17 is about the minimum you see now, 17%. So just a little bit stronger than wine and about the same strength as, say, a port or a sherry wine. Some of them anyway. And it brings to mind the question of how little of something can there be to continue to call it something. So think about a person, right? Surely if I cut off my hand, you wouldn't say, oh, there's Mark. You know, if it were my torso, let's say that we lived in the future and things could be hooked up and kept alive. So a living hand, kind of like that horror movie with the hand scuttling around. Did you see that? You know, but the torso, of course, you'd say, oh, there's Mark. Now, let's talk about whiskey for a minute. So, as you know, 40% is the barrier, after which it is no longer called whiskey in the bottle in most of the world. Korea and Japan, there's a bit of different something going on here, but you see whiskey down to 35 here in Korea, though it usually doesn't say whiskey on it. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Good companies like Diageo, they don't call it whiskey, they call it a spirit drink. Other companies continue to call it whiskey, which I take offense to. Anyway, soju, however, 53 down to 17. So Koreans just like to drink it the way it's presented in the bottle. Now, of course, they may mix it. So they'll make cocktails, they'll make beer shots, Boilermakers, which they call somek here. Somek, soju, and mekju. Soju and beer, that's called somek in Korea. But just adding water seems to be quite unusual here. Anyway, if you're in Korea and you're watching this and you buy these high strength, cask strength whiskeys, just add some water down until you start to enjoy it. So I've added a bit more here. Let's see how we do. And Soldaklu, he says, sorry, I'm not good in English. That's okay. So 혹시 앞으로 그럼 같이 라이브로 한국어로 할까요? Let's do a live show together in Korean, either on your channel, which has a lot of subscribers. Are you at 혹시 10,000명 돌파했나요? Have you passed 10,000 subscribers? That's pretty awesome. And I was thinking of my voice is too small. All right, well, I'm going to try to start. Yeah, I know, that's the problem with iPhone. The volume pickup isn't so good. Is this better now? As I shout. Okay. And Stephen Grimes continues, have you tried Glenlivet Nadura Oloroso Cask Strength? Okay, Stephen Grimes, I guess you came in a bit late. And that's this one right here. So yes, I have. Interesting. Again, a bit on the young side. But certainly a very nice whiskey. I do prefer this to the first fill ex-bourbon cask, ex-bourbon matured Nadura. Anyway, set that there. All right, so back to that. Oh, right, the 56 now with a lot of water added. Okay, so that dryness is starting to be taken over by a nice smoothness. But I think I'm still around about 45%. So we'll go like that, and we'll take it down, maybe below 40. Of course, I was saying 40% is the minimum in the bottle to call it whiskey in the rest of the world. In your glass, however, you know, blenders will drink it down to 23. And I think some people like Ralphie Mitchell, Ralphie.com, the biggest whiskey channel in the world, I've seen him take his whiskeys down to the low 30s. And I think for me, I usually enjoy it somewhere around high 30s to the early 40s. On occasion, up to even 50 is very nice. Oh, Stephen, no problem. I'm so glad you joined. All right, so that's the 56 now. And you can see the cloudiness beginning to settle. So when you add water to that unchill filtered whiskey, you get a little bit of sediment coming out of solution. And that would be a variety of chemicals such as some fatty acids, congeners as they're called. I have no idea what those are. Possibly esters, again. I'm just saying chemistry words out of my ass here. Okay, let's add a bit more to the 59 as well. All right, now the extremely old Aberlour A'Bunadh are apparently very valuable. If you have number one, you probably got a good 1,000, 2,000. I wonder what batch one is worth. Let's see. Aberlour A'Bunadh. I shouldn't be doing this while I'm live. Batch 1 auction. Now this is fun to do. In a lot of countries, you can auction whiskeys. Here in Korea, you can't. There is no auctioning. It doesn't happen here. The kyungmae does not happen in Korea. I think in Canada, in Alberta, yes, it does happen. Some parts of the states, it may happen as part of an estate auction. Anyway, I wish that the USA, along with Korea, would just say, okay, let's start having regular auctions. That way, the country would get their taxes, and people would have another way to legally trade their whiskey. All right, so Aberlour A'Bunadh batch 1. Let's see here. I should probably check recent. So let's go down to the last year. So in the past year, here we go. ScotchWhiskeyAuctions.com. Yeah, I really like this batch 59 with water added on the nose. That's not a helpful site. Okay, so another website here, justwhiskey.co.uk. Let's see what they say. What's the current value of batch 1? Batch 1. Okay, so batch 1 last year, the winning bid was £300 UK, 306 pounds. Now, I'm surprised. I thought that would have been closer to 1,000. Eventually, it will be. So if you do have batch 1, hang on to it, because that will continue to inflate probably faster than inflation. Okay, so this batch 59 with water, lots of water added. Mmm. So buttery smooth. Again, strawberries, cocoa, and again, that little bit of mint at the end. Okay, where am I going here? There, back, and back. All right. Back into my control room. And let's check our chats here. Okay, nothing has changed so far. Well, anyway, thanks so much for everybody who's joined. I know this is a strange time of day to have a live. I should probably do this earlier in the evening. And once I'm in Canada, then this will happen at a good hour for everybody in North America. Okay, one more time with that 56. You really have to enjoy this with a bit of water. That's my recommendation. Again, 130 was much too expensive for this one. I wish I hadn't have, paid that much. However, I've got the bottle, so what do you do? Now it's at a nice balance of sweetness and tartness that I'm happy with. And sweet raspberry jam. No cocoa here. Hint of cinnamon. And not as minty as that 59 was on the finish. All right, now for those who are still watching, do you have any recommendations for another live stream coming up? I'd sure love to hear from you. And this little glass is the Aberlour 18, which is apparently hard to get a hold of now, as I mentioned before. And haven't added water here. This is much more rounded because this is a big, huge batch. You know, this is probably, they probably put this in a release of 10,000 bottles, maybe even more than that. This is reminding me quite a lot of Ball Blair in a sense, and especially the 2005. So there's something kind of, well, for lack of a better descriptor, something kind of like tequila coming through here on the palate. Let's move these down now so that I'm not covering my face. Yeah, there's a tequila anejo tequila, kind of a scent coming through here. So I guess we would probably call that a green scent, something vegetal. And then that classic sherry note coming through as well. All right, let's finish off with this 18. Cheers, everybody. As I said before, for an 18-year-old, I would probably rank this higher than Glenlivet and Glenfiddich, and about on par for me anyway with Glenmorangie 18. Macallan 18, inferior to this for sure. What other 18s? Deanston 18 I preferred. This was not quite as good as the Deanston 18. And Glen Ord, the Singleton of Glen Ord, that's an Asia market special. Very, very nice 18-year-old. If you see that, it's definitely worth the price that you'll see it for here in Korea. Around about 150,000 won, sometimes on sale for less than that. Japan, Taiwan, you guys get great prices on those. All right, we're at 50 minutes. Well, that's fun for me. Nobody's watching, but that's okay. And nice to have a few people come in. Again, Stephen Grimes, thanks for joining. Suldaku, the biggest Korean whiskey channel, liquor channel. Thanks for joining. And Ryan Bennick, you get the prize for being the one who commented the most. Really appreciate that. Well, hopefully my I love my whatchamacallit, my thumbnail for this. It looks beautiful. I think it looks great. What do you think of my thumbnail? All right, let's have a bit of coffee. And a few other things to talk about. Recently, I was on the newspaper, the Korea Herald, their YouTube channel. Actually, it's not a very big channel, but actually got quite a few views. It got over 2,000 views at first, but interestingly, for some reason, Google has cut that down to 700 and something. I think I know why. Actually, I teach at a university here, and I just told all my students, and I guess they all watched at the same time, on the same day, in the same place, and I think that probably sent a red flag up to YouTube, the YouTube towers, that something was amiss. They probably thought that I had monkeys in a room full of computers watching that or something. Anyway, so you can check that out on their YouTube channel for the Korea Herald. And I was allowed to record my own video at the same time, so I put up a full-length, uncut, full of you know, garbage, and that had to get cut away for the regular video, retakes and time changes and changing the order of things. Anyway, so you can watch that full-length one. You can also watch my 5-minute short video to showcase that long video. Anyway, kind of like a trailer. Anyway, so try to watch that if you can. And what other comments to make? A few of my friends have some interesting lives recently. One of those was Rob from Whiskey and the Six. He put a live out recently about the new Macallan distillery that just opened. Well, I shouldn't say opened. They have basically done their press release. I think their opening was at June 2nd. Anyway, so that'll be interesting to see the news of people going and visiting the new distillery. All right, let's enjoy these one last time. 56, the last little bit down the hatch this time. This one really reminded me of the Cavalon Sherry cask that I reviewed. Again, those are single cask releases, so each one is different, but something similar there. And then we have the 59 here. That's a bit much for one sip. Look at the cloudiness happening now. Can you see that? Here we go. Well, that's a turn of events. With water, a lot of water, this has become a bit sour. This one has become a little bit on the sweet side. And finally, the 18-year-old Aberlour. Cheers, everyone. Thanks for joining. All right, well, so glad you could join. Really appreciate that. Again, this is Mark from WhiskyWhistle. I'm here live in the middle of the afternoon in Seoul, South Korea. I set the location to Winnipeg, well, because that's where I'll be very soon. So to everybody who joined, thank you so much. You guys are serious whiskey fans. You are the finest whiskey files that I know, other than myself. All right, so take care, everybody. We'll see you for another live very soon. Pardon me, and lots of reviews to come. I have, well, this Aberlour coming soon. I've already recorded another Glend going. I think that's a cask strength version, isn't it? Yes. 2004 vintage of Glend going, and a couple of other reviews have already been recorded, so stay tuned. And check me out on Twitter, check me out on Instagram, and all of that is at WhiskyWhistle, okay? And also on Patreon, patreon.com/WhiskyWhistle. Become a patron, get the Whiskey Whistle newsletter called the Whiskey Whistler, and also get the Patreon patron priority pass, so you get ad-free viewing of my videos before they get released to the public, okay? All right, everybody, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you for another live. And Stephen Grimes says, great live. Well, I really appreciate that. Nice to have you come and join. Really appreciate it very, very much. And to everybody else watching. All right, now I'll say goodbye.